Of course, the results are in this morning for primary races in 5 different states, and that includes some high-stakes seats in the state of Georgia.
In the race for governor, the incumbent Republican with a landslide victory, dealing a blow to former President Trump and the candidate that he backed. Willie James Inman joins us from Atlanta now with the details. Willie, good morning.
Hey there, good morning from downtown Atlanta. Brian Kemp, the incumbent governor here in the state of Georgia, won the GOP primary handedly last night, and he was up against his key challenger, David Perdue, who was backed by former President Trump. So it really just sends a signal that the GOP, the voters here, are ready to move on from not only Trump, but also that 2020 election outcome lie. That's literally what fueled David Perdue's campaign. And here's how Brian Kemp responded to the voters here last night.
And tonight, because of your support, Georgia Republicans went to the ballot box and overwhelmingly endorsed 4 more years of our vision for this great state. To be crystal clear with all of you here tonight, our battle is far from over. Tonight, the fight for the soul of our state begins to make sure that Stacey Abrams is not going to be our governor or the next president.
Now, Governor Kemp will face Stacey Abrams. This is a rematch of the 2018 race here in Georgia. And Abrams, she has been building up a coalition of support since that loss to Kemp in 2018. And during a press conference yesterday, she criticized her opponents. Here's what she had to say.
Challenge I have is that the answer from Republicans, from our former senator to our current governor, is to fight me instead of fighting the problems that are facing Georgia. And I urge everyone to pay less attention to rhetoric and more attention to the record and to the results. And I'm here to provide results for the future of Georgia.
Now, for the general election, Abrams will face some major headwinds like other Democrats across the nation. That's because of record high inflation. You have the U.S. economy literally just being challenged by that. But you also have the current president, Joe Biden, with record low approval ratings. So Democrats, it'll all be about the turnout for them come the general election, especially here in Georgia. Now, moving to the U.S. Senate race, incumbent Raphael Warnock, the Democrat, he handedly won his primary, and he will face Herschel Walker. That's the Trump-endorsed former football star here in Georgia. He won his primary easily as well. And Walker actually received a phone call from former President Trump congratulating him on his victory here in Georgia last night. And this race is important, and it's a very big and important one because it could literally determine the balance of power in the Senate. Remember, Georgia was a state that changed the balance of power in that chamber, and it could do it all again this time around after the general election it happens here in Georgia in November. And one other race that I want to mention as well this morning, and that's the local race, but a local state race, but it's important because of who wasn't on the ballot. The Secretary of State, the incumbent Brad Raffensperger, winning his primary here, and he's important and key because he refused to overturn the 2020 election results at the request of former President Trump. So yet again, a candidate that wasn't well liked by former President Trump, and literally a Trump challenger in this case lost. Brad Raffensperger eking out a victory here in the Peach State, literally sending another signal that the GOP is ready to move on from former President Trump. Back to you.
Results, though, Willie, you've got wins in Texas and some wins, some losses in Georgia. It's really tough to gauge just how much sway former President Trump has at this point.
Yeah.
Willie James Inman reporting for us live in Atlanta. Thanks, Willie.